I'm not really sure what it is that XGIMI thinks that they're doing here. On the one hand, I definitely admire the hustle. Who wouldn't want a better projector for less money? But on the other hand, at the rate they're going, they're gonna be making the best projector in the world for $5. Just a couple months ago, we looked at their Horizon 20 Max, which I joked would make rich people angry because of how much more they spent on their fancy projectors. And now, here we are with a sponsored video on their Titan Noir Max, which looks even better. At an early bird price of just $3,000 US, the top spec unit in this lineup has it all. 5,000 lumens of real world movie watching brightness, up to a 6,000 to 1 real world native contrast ratio. That's actually at 2,000 lumens, so that would be very suitable for a light controlled room and a great HDR experience. HDR 10 Plus and Dolby Vision. It's also IMAX enhanced. We're even getting the same lens shift feature that I raved about last time. That gives us the ability to move the image up, down, left, and right without any keystone or distortion. And even better this time, we're getting a dual iris for super fine control over contrast. It actually looks better too. Like, dang, XGIMI's learning. The lens setup allows you to switch instantly between a 16:9 aspect ratio and a CinemaScope aspect ratio, and I guess I haven't even mentioned yet, it'll do 4K 60Hz or up to 240Hz 1080p if you're more into the gaming side of things. You can expect a little bit of rainbow effect because it is a triple chip laser projector, but they claim that they have some reduction built in, so I'll be interested to see how that works out a little bit later. As for I/O, we've got 3 HDMIs in, including support for eARC, a couple USBs, one of which is running at 3.0 speeds, a gigabit LAN port. They made a point of highlighting that, and that is important if you happen to use, Plex for your legitimate, Blu-rays that you've definitely ripped, for instance. Optical audio, as well as really DC power, and a 3.5mm jack. Whoa, that's a lot of cooling on the bottom for something that's powered by a barrel jack. Look at that, I guess they're aiming to make it really quiet. I do see one 80mm fan in there though. Power that up in a second. First I want to take a look at what else is in the box. Normally I don't care that much about packaging. I mean, you're just gonna throw it away, but like, that's pretty cool. Really clean remote, good job. No Netflix button. Instead, you just get programmable shortcut buttons, so you decide if you want a Netflix button. XGIMI is leveling up so big time, dude. So, I mean, I even said this in the last video. They've gone from like little brother projector brand to like, oh damn, like, wow, okay. Backlit remote, you love to see it. And not much else. Not that I really need anything else. I get a big chunky power brick, 360 watts. You know, when we started calling these power bricks, I don't think the intention was for them ever to be actually like something you could build a domicile out of, but we got there. Good job, everyone. Enough about that, let's fire it up. Now we can just plug in our NVIDIA Shield. Actually, no, let's not do that just yet, because one of the big highlights for XGIMI on this one is that they're not using Android anymore. They are still using the Android open source project, AOSP, but they've made some customizations to it that they say allows them to give customers more control of just, side loading any kinds of apps they want onto it, as well as better optimization for the software itself. So it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them. Okay, let's start with image correction. Boop, 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 boop. That was painless. We can make some fine adjustments with the little screw style feet. Okay, that was about 3 minutes, and we are like pretty darn close. Perfect? No, but unless you want to spend a very long time or you're a professional, you're always going to be doing a little bit of keystone. Oh, right, laser. So when it detects someone in front of it, it turns off. For those wondering, by the way, does it have to be this close to the screen? The answer is no. It totally supports mounting it up high, or if you wanted to mount it behind your projector screen. We actually have it at maximum zoom right now. Man, there's so much like adaptive stuff. Automatic keystone, automatic wall color adaptation, automatic focus, like everything. I'll try out dynamic iris. I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but I mean, hey, that's one of the key features, so let's give it a shot. I don't need to adapt to ambient light. We've got full light control in this room. Picture mode, filmmaker mode, thank you. I do notice a little bit of rainbow effect, especially as I'm moving around in a white on gray menu. We'll have to see how it looks in content though. Oh, the anti-rainbow effect thing wasn't on. Oh, dude, that is immediately better. Why don't they have that on by default? What's the downside? Wow, it's way better. Can you guys see that? Maybe there's like a terrible downside, but I would turn it on so far. All right, home. Here we go. Wait. Oh, I guess there's just like no home screen. It's not a smart device. So they're running AOSP just for like the operating system of it, but no extra clunky stuff. Okay, so we will need our NVIDIA Shield. Huh, that's super cool. All right, HDMI 1 and boop. Time to kick off the lights and see how she looks. Wow, not bad. It is pretty incredible how much image you can get out of a tabletop projector these days. To be clear, the resolution and the brightness, and even for that matter, the overall picture quality might not be like an enormous leap over what's been available in this type of form factor before. But like I said last time around, the inclusion of lens shift, not to mention now this like super responsive granular menu, makes it actually usable. Okay, I do want to see a piece of content. I haven't watched this since it came out, so I do want to see a piece of content that I have a little bit more familiarity with. I want something that really pops in HDR. It doesn't have the poppiest HDR I've ever seen, even on a projector. Screen size, I think we're more like 120. Oh, interesting. So they have a brightness slider elsewhere in the menu, but separately, they have this screen size adjuster that, as you can see, will boost the brightness, but actually doesn't seem to be screwing with color too much. Little bit, yes, definitely. It's definitely juicing it a bit. But I would say that if you like a more vibrant image, boosting this a couple tens of inches over what your screen size actually is gonna yield an image that you will like a lot more even than a vivid mode. That's cool. Screen gain. So I can play around with how much gain my screen has as well. This is terrific. XGIMI, sponsored video or not, got some feedback. This should not be hidden in the Dolby Vision settings in the picture mode. Please, no. Wow, now it looks great. See, I was sitting here going like, yeah, it doesn't look that much better, blah, 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 blah. Because I'm not gonna tell you guys something I don't believe, whether it's sponsored or not, but like, now, damn, that looks awesome. It just needed that little bit more pop. Now you're still not gonna get that kind of crazy, specular highlight that you might get on something like a mini LED TV or an OLED or something like that. But you're never gonna get that projector look, that sort of cinematic, almost softness. I don't wanna call it a softness, right? It's a 4K display and it's quite sharp, but it does look a little bit different. And you'll never get that on a TV. So it comes down to whether you want that more cinema look or whether you want really bright TV that can do, pinpoints of light. This like solved it for me. I'm so glad we found that. I was worried that the dynamic iris would be a huge problem in a scene like this, where we're kind of going between near total darkness to like, flaring lights in the sky. But I was not noticing the iris transitions. That's pretty smooth. I did notice a little bit of noise in like sort of very dark sections that it was not handling perfectly, but it's the kind of thing that if you're not like a nerd who's looking for it, I don't think most people would ever notice. I guess I should turn the speakers on. Normally I would never, ever in 1,000 years recommend using the speakers on a device like this, whether you paid the $3,000 early bird price or the $6,000 like full retail price. Get speakers, like it deserves it. But we might as well turn them on.
You're in trouble and you need my tree. Yes, we do.
Yeah, the speakers are usable, but what I said before stands. Yeah, now that I've got it dialed in, it's quite solid. Was part of the setup wizard, did I miss that part where it like asked me how big my screen was and stuff?
No.
Okay, that's something I'd like to see XGIMI improve as well then, is make sure that that's part of the initial setup wizard. Other than that, man, all the things that you need are in the menu and it's pretty easy to figure out other than that screen inch thing. If you guys want to check this thing out, it's going to be linked in the video description. Obviously, there's an early access price and then there'll be a higher retail price down the road. Or, hey, down the road though, the way XGIMI's going, there might be an even better projector. These guys have just been killing it lately. Thanks to XGIMI for sending this over and sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for watching. Subscribe for more Short Circuit.